Shalom, call Yahweh Shem Shalom to the left. Now I was just up like real early in the morning, so I got off work and stuff, and I happened to see this little video. Man, you click on this shit, see what Esau talking about. And what do you know? They just bringing it out now. Now I ain't gonna play the video because I know I'm gonna get a strike because it's from the History Channel. So I'm gonna just share the little link to it. But basically, it was like we don't know what they are. They've been watching over us, and they could basically bring on a doomsday scenario. And they plotting on the doomsday scenario with the scriptures. They tell exactly who they are, what they are, and what they plotting on. The only precept that came on mind when I first started watching this, when he said they was watching over us, it says, the eyes of the Lord are 10,000 times brighter than the sun. And then the actual eyes of the Lord are those angels. They go to and fro on the earth, like the scripture said. So let me pull a few precepts real quick. I'm trying to make this too long. Book of 2 Chronicles, chapter 16, verse 9, it says, "For the eyes of the Lord run to and fro throughout the whole earth." Now, don't know eyes run, so that this is parabolic talk. His eyes are those angels. The Most High not finna get out the throne and come down here personally. He's gonna send his angels down here to watch. And how do they come down here? Let's go back to this little clip right. One minute on my browser load up. How they come down, they travel in these vehicles, which I'm going to go in the book of Ezekiel. Because I'll lock you too about that little pause. Because for some reason, I can scroll through all these browsers and go through all this different stuff. It's contrary to what I'm looking up right now. Everything be working perfect. As soon as I click on something like this, they should want to slow up. But hey, it is what it is. They're going to bring it out. But the angels that travel in these vehicles, book of Ezekiel tell you how they travel, how they maneuver. I'll try to get there in a minute. Let this load up real quick. I'm about to close this other browser. Should read it better now. Alright, here we go. Go back to it. Back in 2 Chronicles chapter 16 verse 9, "For the eyes of the Lord run to and fro throughout the whole earth to show himself strong on the behalf of them whose heart is perfect toward him. Herein thou hast done foolishly, therefore henceforth thou shalt have wars." And that's why you see what's going on right now in the world. All these wars, all this different. So Esau had all this time. When we mentioned Esau, talk about the so-called white man. and not all white people descend from Esau too. That's another parable, which goes into the wheats and the tares. But anyway, they had all this power, all this authority over the earth. Now the book of Job said the earth was given to the hands of the wicked. They had all this time to make shit right. And what they doing, they're still doing the same bullshit. So they're going to keep having these wars, and these wars are going to actually be their own demise. Now the scripture said, whosoever diggeth a pit shall fall there. And they dug a big pit, they're going to fall in it. Just from them setting up military bases all over the earth, spreading themselves thin, selling weaponry, and they actually, I just looked at something else when I just got in. They actually sending more weapons over there to foreigners. Now, who's to say they won't take none of that shit and turn it against them? But they sending it over there, though. And the Most High can put the spirit on them to do so. Let me go on the book of Ezekiel. So when you really read this stuff and actually internalize it for real, you see clearly what's going on. See clearly what's going on. It's the book of Ezekiel, chapter 1. Let me make sure I'm in the right part. Oh, yeah, while this loading up to, I want to speak on something. I asked somebody, they just went to church recently, right? On Easter, which we ain't even supposed to be celebrating the damn Easter anyway. You read the book of Acts, and they tell you about Easter and where it comes from, the origins and all that. One of the reasons Peter got locked up. But anyway, I asked them, did they pastor tell them about what the mark of the beast is? And guess what? They said no. So, I had to let them know. Let those individuals know. And it's fucked up. That should make you mad. It should make you mad anyway, because you're like, hold up, these people, they got this congregation, they got these people, and they giving them money to them, because real men don't really desire money from people like that, because we handle our own business, and the Lord bless us anyway. We just want people to wake up to what's really going on and not be out here being dumb, not being simple. How the scripture say, how long you simple ones will you love simplicity. Don't be simple. But some people can't really help it, because you got pastors that lead sheep astray, and they're not really telling them what's going on or what's coming. I know my battery getting low. Plug this up. I'm like, damn, that's crazy though. Even some of my family members, I spoke to them about it. Yeah. That pastor ain't warning them, man. So you out here and they be warning people and alerting people. So what's really going on, man? Keep warning people, because they be needing to know. So as proud as our people say, the Most High say He's gonna send us to a rebellious house. As proud as our people may seem, man, like they don't want to hear it, they need to hear it, and they gonna hear it. All right, but we go back to the sense book of Ezekiel, chapter 1. Let's see exactly what I want to go to. All right, we start at verse 4 and just skip around a little bit, just get the main points. Ezekiel chapter 1, verse 4 says, and I looked, and behold, a whirlwind came out of the north, a great cloud, and the fire enfolded in itself. Now, I wasn't literally talking about just a cloud. And you see these images right here, what does that look like? And they actually giving the images right now. First, Esau wasn't putting this out, they were saying, no, it's fake, it don't exist. People saying weather balloons, or it was military craft, top secret military craft. Now they just coming on out and saying, we don't know what it is, where they coming from, what they plotting on. They don't know what to do. load up again. Now the browser acting like it won't load up. Anyway, I'll come back to it in a minute. Let me just click back on this because I don't want to stretch this out too much longer. Alright, anyway, it says, the fire unfolding itself and the brightness was round about, out of the midst thereof as a color of amber. Now the midst of the fire also, out of the midst thereof came the likeness of 4 living creatures. And this was their appearance. They had the likeness of a man. So you saw they try to say they don't know who they are, what they are, and all that stuff. They know. They don't see it. They got images. Got scientists and astrophysicists or whatever that actually documented how they actually look. It goes into something also as well. Let me jump down. One main point I want to go into also, because they always paint these angels as being white beings, right? It says, and they sparkle like the color of burnished brass. So if they're looking like burnished brass, and if you know what burnished brass look like, you know damn well they're not pale white like how they try to make all these images. It says, and they had the hands of a man under their wings and on their 4 sides. They 4 had their faces and their wings. Their wings were joined one to another, and they turned not when they went, and they went everyone straight forward. Let me see, it's another part I want to go to as well. Verse 11, it says, thus were their faces and their wings were stretched over. 2 wings of everyone were joined one to another, and 2 covered their bodies. And they went, everyone straight forward, whether the spirit was to go. They went, they turned not when they went. As for the likeness of the living creatures, the appearance was like burning coals of fire. And I put it in a previous video. I ain't gonna pull it up now since my browser went act a little slow. Now, I might need to reset my computer too. That might be what it be, but my browser acting a little slow. If some look like burning coals of fire, I mean it will be dark, right? It says that's the appearance. Their appearance was like the burning coals of fire, which will have like a flame around it, almost like an aura. It says like the appearance of lamps. It went up and down among the living creatures, and the fire was bright, and out of the fire went forth lightning. And the living creatures ran and returned as the appearance of a flash of lightning. So Esau can't duplicate this right here. They could try to so-called reverse engineer, because they don't have none of these crafts to reverse engineer. They could try to make something similar or, create something in the same shape. But they don't got nothing that can. They don't have nothing that can run and return as the appearance of a flash of lightning. You know how fast that is? Let me scroll down. That's why they spook. Esau fucking spook. Especially the powers that be. That's why you see a lot of these so-called rich people linking up with Elon Musk trying to board SpaceX and all that shit. Because they know what's coming too. They want to get up out of here when the shit go down. Let me see. Now verse 15 says, now as I beheld the living creatures, behold, one wheel upon the earth by the living creatures, with his 4 faces. Their appearance of the wheels and their work was like unto the color of a barrel, and they 4 had one likeness in their appearance and their work was as it were a wheel in the middle of a wheel. Look at it. They know, man. There ain't no little white angelic babies or all that flying off no ship either. The worst thing, I always mention this in videos when I make like this, the worst thing Esau fear is a brown-skinned man, a dark-skinned man with power that they can't do nothing about. They don't fear no aliens. They don't fear no fucking reptilians or no grays or none of that. They're not worrying about none of that, because that shit not even real. They fear somebody far beyond that. Let's scroll down some more. Let's see. Alright, so the appearance of the wheels and their work was like unto the color of a barrel. And they 4 had the likeness of their appearance, and the work was as it were a wheel in the middle of a wheel. When they went upon their 4 sides, and they turned not when they went. That's why, if you ever seen one of these, and some people have accounts, they've seen them. Some people won't believe it, but Some people seen them. I've seen them personally. When they move, they don't move like average vehicles. They're not gonna lean like a helicopter. They're not gonna maneuver in just one straight angle like an airplane or a jet. They maneuver in a different air, in a different spectrum, so to speak. It says, as for their rings, they were so high that they were dreadful. Imagine going downtown and you see this over the city. That's dreadful. It says their rings were full of eyes round about them, which is talking about the lights. It said when the living creatures went, the wheels went by them, and when the living creatures were lifted up from the earth, the wheels were lifted up. Whatsoever the spirit was to go, they went. Thither was their spirit to go, and the wheels were lifted up over against them. But the spirit of the living creature was in the wheels. And those went, these went, and when those stood, these stood. And when those were lifted up from the earth, the wheels were lifted up over against them. And for the spirit of the living creature was in the wheels. So Esau can't duplicate this. They could put the best engine in a spacecraft, and they can't duplicate this. Because these are spiritual vehicles. So let me get a few more precepts. And I'm going to end this up. My battery getting low, so let me go and finish this up before my phone end up done. Let's see. This book is 2nd Ezra, chapter 13, and verse 3, and this is in the Apocrypha. For those who don't know, go get the Apocrypha and read it and internalize it. Pray for that understanding. Now it says, I beheld and lo, that man waxed strong with the thousands of heaven. And that's what Esau feared. They're not worried about no aliens. This is what they fear right here. It says, and when he turned his countenance to look, all the things trembled that were seen under him. And whatsoever the voice went out of his mouth, all they burned and heard his voice. As like the earth fell of him, when it filled the fire. And after this I beheld, and lo, there was gathered together a multitude of men out of a number from the four winds of heaven to subdue that man that came out to sea. It was talking about the Space Force, Air Force, those military branches. It says, but I beheld, and lo, and it raised himself a great mountain, and flew upon it. And it'll be something similar like this, but bigger. It said, but I would have seen a region, a place, whereout the hill was graven, and I could not. After this I beheld, and lo, all they which were gathered together to subdue him were so afraid, and yet durst fight. And Esau getting wiped out when this shit happened. This is what they fear right here. And like the scripture said also, behind the Esau, it says, Esau is the beginning of the world. No, Esau is Silaki. I said that wrong. Esau is the ending of the world, and Jacob is the beginning that follows thereafter. So when they end come, our rise come. Basically, that's what that's talking about in the scripture. So I just want to bring this up. I don't want to watch this up. It's edifying. Call Allah Yahweh Shem Shah. Shalom to the left.